Forensics, the analysis and collection of physical evidence. For decades, this has been the focus of many television shows. Like Bones, Law and Order, NCIS, and most infamously CSI. These shows pushed and boosted public interest in forensic science. But the reality of forensic work is far from the dramatic portrayals we see on TV. This begs the question, is TV forensic accurate or purely TV magic? TV crime dramas make forensics seem fast-paced and foolproof. But in reality, forensic investigations are slow and bound by the law. Not to mention these shows are filled with inaccuracies. Quick question. How long do you think it takes to get a DNA match in a forensic lab? A day or two like in TV? Maybe a day if the lab is feeling motivated? Not even close. Try weeks or months. It's stuff like this that contributes to common myths of how forensic science actually works. Segueing to today's episode's starting point: myths of forensic investigation. So there's a lot of common misconceptions with forensic science, like our first myth. Results come back instantaneously. You see this a lot in television shows. A random investigator comes in, swabs for samples of DNA, then 2 scenes later the results are back. Usually accompanied with a mugshot of whose DNA it is. This couldn't be any farther from the truth. Forensic analysis is a meticulous and slow process. DNA analysis can take weeks or months. The process is quite rigorous. It involves such steps as extraction, amplification, and comparison against known samples. Even cases with high priority can take a long time to get results from the crime lab. Sometimes in cases with partial samples, forensics might take more than a few weeks or months to get something usable. On to our next myth. In crime shows, it's not constant murder investigations. Sometimes there's variety, like theft, kidnappings, and home invasions. With this variety comes inaccuracies, especially when it comes to the crime scene. Which brings us to our second myth: all crime scenes get processed for evidence. It may seem that way, but it isn't entirely true. Limited resources often dictate what a crime scene investigation receives. Police departments may take priority on violent crimes or cases with strong evidence for forensic examination. Crimes such as property crime may not receive the same level of attention. The reality of working in the forensic field is considerably different from its portrayals on TV. This field is highly specialized, tedious, and often requires a deep understanding of both the science and the legal implications of evidence. In saying that, these myths can negatively affect our legal system, more specifically the jury of a court proceeding. The negative effect from this is called the CSI effect. The CSI effect is how crime dramas influence public perception of forensic science. This is prevalent with jurors in real trials. This phenomenon causes jurors to develop unrealistic expectations about forensic science and criminal investigations. They demand DNA evidence that doesn't exist, assume fingerprints are always available, and believe forensic technology is far more advanced than it is. This creates challenges for the prosecution and the defense. Prosecutors may struggle to meet the CSI-like expectations for a case based solely on forensics, which can lead to wrongful exonerations, just because the jury expects police to collect evidence that would magically solve a case. Also, having their bubble bursted on how forensic actually works, then it can cause them to lose faith and consider forensics unreliable. The influence of the CSI effect is really bad because of how important forensic science is. It can aid in the identification and conviction of a suspect or the exoneration of the innocent. As we wrap up our exploration of TV CSI vs real CSI, it's clear that the gap between fictional portrayals and real-world forensics is wide. Crime drama forensics can be compelling, but what it actually is can be way more fascinating. That's all I have for you today. If you were entertained by today's episode, please like the video. Any questions on today's video or the forensic field itself, leave a comment, and if you enjoyed today's video and are left wanting more, then please consider subscribing, as there will be much more to come.